Hello guys, welcome to WWE review of the week ending, what date was it? The 15th of March, 2026. Uh, didn't do individual reviews for the show, but SmackDown before, honestly. Like I said, it's going to be more infrequent, especially when I'm not enjoying the product at the moment. However, this week was better. For the first time in a while, man, it was a rough couple of weeks. I was really fuming uh, that week where the Elimination Chamber result, Rhea won. Nothing on Rhea, but didn't like that. And then Cody regained the championship against Drew McIntyre. So yeah, wasn't happy with either of those. Went on a big rant about it and was getting a bit disillusioned with the product. And it's still far from good. The Mania build so far this year. Still not enough matches locked in yet, I think. But we're getting a better idea of maybe where they're going. And let's hope for better for Monday Night Raw tonight. I woke up super early today, like 7 a.m. It doesn't even finish till like half 3 a.m. my time, so I doubt I'm even going to watch Raw live today, which is a rarity. Normally I do at least stay up and watch them live. Unless I smash the coffees. Yeah, last week's Raw was better than SmackDown, I think, which is probably a first this year, honestly. I think SmackDown's been better in general. I've certainly enjoyed it more. Not exactly like either of them have set the house on fire. Yeah, Raw was decent. I think the start, though, my God, the start was off. Seth Rollins is the masked man, and bro, what the fuck was that opening segment? You know what? Into general, despite saying the vegan has kind of tailed off, and I'm not a huge fan of the overabundance of the Vision and the Usos and LA Knights and all this shit. It's been the same thing for fucking 7, 8 months. Typically, I come on here and I say, Raw, I kind of didn't mind the intro or like the intro. It's often Gunther, the intro as well, which is a big plus. Love Gunther. I typically like the intro and the ending, and it's everything in between. I've not been hitting for me on Raw lately. Well, Jesus fucking Christ. The ending I really liked the show, but the intro was just dog shit, man. Adam Pearce is in the ring and demands to speak to Seth Rollins. There's a fucking flurry. There's about a dozen different masked men all jumping over the barricades, appearing on the ring at the circling, and they all get in. Well, no, Seth Rollins comes in, takes the mask off, Adam Pearce has a go at him. Then he doesn't say a word. He didn't say nothing. What the fuck? It's Mania build coming up, man. I feel like what they're doing right now is stalling because they don't know whether Bron Breakker's going to be back in time. It looks like Bronson Reed's definitely going to be out. They were option A and option B for Rollins to face. So you're left with option C and D. Logan Paul and Austin Theory, who were in the Vision, but they were never even part of the Vision when Rollins got kicked out. They had nothing to do with it. They're just associated with the group now. Of course, they're associated with Heyman as well. So you can tie in that. It's not exactly a match. If it happens at Mania, Rollins is obviously going to take on some combination of Paul and Theory, maybe in a tag. I'm thinking maybe they'll team him with LA Knight at this point, which is kind of wild given their history. But God, like he didn't say a word, and all of a sudden, all the masked men come in, and they're shuffling around like a fucking musical chairs without the chairs there, and Rollins just gets lost in the swarm of these fucking masked men. The Triple H, he must have been loving it. He loves his masked men. And then all of a sudden he had a load of them on there. He was well jerking off at the back. Fucking hell, man. Like, this was just awful. It looks so clownish. Raw has a new lead writer, a woman called Alexandra Williams, I think. And that was the very first segment. Has there ever been a worst first segment for a lead writer? Frankly, the rest of the show is better. Because after that, they went into the women's. I think they've got them. That's an AW thing, isn't it? Women's gauntlet match for the Intercontinental Championship and #1 contendership. Io Sky and Lyra Valkyria start the match, which is a fair choice. Two of the best wrestlers in the company for sure, and they did really well. I thought it was a great start. It went a decent amount of time, enough that it should have. But the one problem with this is that Lyra is first eliminated, and yeah, I've no qualms of Io going over her. Way it is, Io's the best wrestler in the world on the women's side for sure. But man, before I get on to the rest of the match, Lyra Valkyrie, like we've got to talk about this. Fucking hell! I spoke in a WWE and Real review about how I really hope I was already starting to fear at that point. Did not kind of punishing her for the SummerSlam match, the zip tie incident. That was a awful match. There's no denying it. It's sad to say that because of how upset Lyra was, clearly on the program. But yeah, it was a terrible match. But at the end of the day, it was at the end of a really good feud. And Lyra's IC run, I think it started it slowly, but Becky especially helped elevate it a lot. And then with the work Bailey did with her, they had good matches, Backlash, and where was the one? Where did Becky win it? Was it Money in the Bank, maybe? I remember. Might have just been a regular Raw. And then Evolution, that banger triple threat to open the show with Bailey and Becky. And since then, it's kind of been downhill. They had a bad match at SummerSlam. Well, since October the 13th, I looked this up. 13th of October, Lyra Valkyria has not won a televised match on Raw. She's won on main event, but, you know, who the fuck watches main event? I wouldn't even know how. I wouldn't even know what fucking channel it's on. I think WWE posts it to YouTube sometimes, but no one watches that shit. There's enough shows to go by. She was on a few NXT tours and won some house shows. She was on the Holiday tour, won some house show matches, but even then, there was a lot of defeats. She took on Liv over that whole Holiday tour and took defeat. Um, she beat Roxanne, I think, in a singles match in October. We're now in March. November, December, January, February, March. 5 months losing streak for your inaugural IC champion. Someone who is a great wrestler. Maybe she could work on the character work, the promo, and stuff like that. She's still a little below the required level, I would say, to be like a big main event deal in that regard. But in terms of her wrestling, her attitude, her application, she's great. She's really great. She had a good run as well as IC champ. And it's a big shame, man, that they're doing this. I don't know if they lost faith in her or what, but you have to question it. You know, it's not just a blip now in terms of booking. You know, you could argue till the cows come home for a lot of these women. Oh, they should be booked better. That should be better. Booked better. This person should be booked better. That's the case. You're not going to have everyone on top. No, everyone winning all the time. Unless you're Rhea or Cody, apparently. But yeah, put it this way, I've not checked this, but it would not surprise me if someone turned around and said to me, 80% of the main roster have won a televised match since Lyra Valkyria. I would probably believe that. That might well be the case. There are too many jobbers these days, or even the jobbers, you know, they get the occasional win. They fucking hell, man. That's insane. But nothing you can do in this match. I was sad to see her go first. Unfortunate. It really was. Who else in this match? Io and Raquel were in next, I think. Raquel got eliminated by Io. And then, Liv tried to come down to help. Stephanie Vaquer chased her off. We'll get back to them later on. And then the big save, the big interference, of course. The Judgment Day take vengeance on Io by basically laying her out, ready for the next person who came in, which is Ivy Nile, who I would not have expected to pick up a pin here, to be quite honest. But she did. And she pinned, no less, she pinned Io in about 30 seconds, was it? Wait, was Raquel in later, actually? I'm struggling to think the order of it now. It's been a week. But I do remember, I can't even remember who it was now. Ivy picked someone up and held them in position for a slam for about 30 seconds, legit. Really impressive. I think he ends up getting eliminated though. It boiled down to Bailey and Asuka, and they go back and forth quite a while. They got a lot of history. They're both great wrestlers. Expect this to be good. Kyrie comes down. Oh, wasn't was Kyrie? I don't think so. Kyrie came down, tried to like interfere. Lyra came down, leveled the score. Bailey ends up getting the win. I'm not going to go in depth in the match yet. I'll just summarize these things as quickly as possible because the main thing is about the outcome and the story and the back and forth. I would have expected if Io was cost by anyone, it would have been Kairi Asuka because what the fuck does Io do at Mania? She did not win this match. Who the fuck knows? Man? I don't even know at this point. I don't even know if they know. They just gave Rhea that championship match against. I mean, at the end of the day, Io and Rhea going in as tag champs or just in any tag match in any capacity was a waste. Let's face it. I would sooner they just did a singles match of just for pride. You know, who could the story's as simple as they ran at Evolution, but it works. Rhea's just desperate to beat her. She's never managed to beat Io. They could have done that. Could have gone with the SmackDown Championship in a different way because we'll get to that. Rhea vs Jade right now is fucking abysmal. Neither of them can run a story. Neither of them can run a. We'll get to it. But it's left Io in the ledge. And, you know, this match, the number one contendership match, it's not to say she couldn't still go for it, to be fair. Because this match is tonight, I think. I'm recording this on the Monday after. AJ Lee versus Bailey. So maybe whoever wins that, I'm assuming it's going to be AJ. Maybe Io could get factored into a Mania program there. That would be pretty high. But I don't know, man. You just never know with WWE. Who knows? Who's to say it's the championship's even going to be on the card? You just don't know. Rumor has it they're looking at 6 women's matches this year, which would seem to indicate they'll get all the championships on there, all 5 of them. As for the other match, maybe that is Io Asuka, and they revisit that story. Maybe even a triple threat with Kyrie involved. And you know, the story is kind of will Kyrie finally turn face and say "fuck you, Asuka"? Because she's basically been mistreated. It's kind of Stockholm syndrome for Kyrie right now. I wouldn't mind either option, honestly. But yeah, right now, still kind of wild. A month away. The best female wrestler on the roster. No one has any real clue what the fuck she's doing at Megan. They have to get a move on these things, man. I get you've got to cover week and fill week to week episode of television, but you've still got to have these overarching angles. And I feel like if Asuka or Kyrie had cost Io in some way in that match, that would have been a step. So I'm sure more will come clear tonight what happens there. As for Bailey winning, she was kind of in the same boat as Lyra in a lot of ways. You know, if not, it's hard to say which is worse. Lyra is a young star who has time on her side and stuff, and needs to be established. So giving her a big losing run, it's just made to look shit, is kind of arguable whether it's better or worse than Bailey, who is a legend and should be treated as such. Is still one of the best wrestlers in the company, and it's just still great all around. Which one's worse? The treatment? Because man, Bailey's treatment last year was fucking awful. She got pulled from Mania later on. Becky didn't even want to do it. If WWE and Reels to be believed. And I do believe that. You know, they go way back. And I think she was fearful she was going to boot. She didn't, but Bailey got pulled from that. She wasn't on SummerSlam card. In fact, since Evolution, the only PLE she's appeared on was the Rumble, where both of them got eliminated by 40-year-old fucking part-timers in the Bella Twins. My God. Oh. So it's good to finally see her given a win. And, you know, I wonder how much AJ Lee had to do with this. No coincidence, in my opinion, that the first 2 opponents back are the two of the 3 remaining horsewomen. The one is Charlotte, who's not even on Raw. So they're obviously going with that first. You know, the horsewomen were the generation after AJ's Divas era. And like Becky and Bailey were amongst the best of the best coming through them. AJ listed a lot of these women a while ago. It's exactly what you expect the people she wants to face. One of them was Io, you know, and Asuka, and then she looked at Liv. She looked at the other side of the show company as well on SmackDown, listed Charlotte, Lexa, etc. I'm sure these all will happen in time. I see the championship changing on a random Raw. No, I think AJ will be on the Mania card. You could maybe argue they could do like an AJ Becky again, but not need the IC Championship on them. And then you could maybe get more women on by doing a multi-woman IC Championship match. Maybe they'll go that route. I'm not entirely sure. But I'm excited for this match. I really am. AJ did really well at Chamber for her first singles match in over a decade. You know, she's still not exactly old. She's in her late 30s. That's not old. She can still go. We know Bailey can. So excited for this. Bailey had said to Lyra as well, if she does win, she'll be first up as challenger. So that's more reason why I don't think she's going to win. Because I don't see them doing Bailey Lyra at Mania. And the alternative is what? You're going to do that just in this gap before Mania and then try and work another story for the championship in Mania. I didn't see it. But I'd say, who's to know? Who's to tell? The IC Championship on the women's side may not even be on the fucking Mania card. Elsewhere on Raw, Natty did a promo, cussing out. Natty got interrupted by that thing. I do not give a fuck. I just don't care. Oba Femi had been teasing some kind of a tension standoff with Rusev. They had a match. I thought this would go longer. It was a squash, basically. Oba got squashed Rusev in like 3 minutes. Yeah, I get it. And I like that they're giving him a big unbeaten run. They're making him out to be a big deal because he is. Oba is the guy over the next 20 years, I think. I love Braun Breaker. I love Dominic Mysterio. I love Carmelo Hayes. I love Trick Williams. I love Javon Evans. All these young guys who are the future of the company, no doubt. Oba is the one, though, my opinion. So they have to make a big deal of them. But I feel like this was an opportunity to showcase his wrestling a bit more, give him a bit more time. Yeah, Rusev's no, I mean, he basically is a jobber now, but he shouldn't be presented as a jobber. Guy did great work in Awesome with Dominic Mysterio and Penta when they were all going back and forth. They actually championship. They had a couple of triple threats that were really good. They had a series of single matches against each other. I like that. He also had a banger, absolute banger in Paris with Chains. Because, of course, two great wrestlers. They always had great matches and chemistry. So I feel like it could have gone longer, but whatever, man. It's what it is, unfortunately, for Rusev. He gets squashed in 3 minutes. Oba looks dominant increasingly. And the question I have now is because Brock Lesnar is advertised for Raw tonight. Are we finally going to have Oba come out and accept the open challenge? The fact they didn't the first time round when they could have then built a story for it makes me think no. But maybe they were just using this as a soundboard, a gauge of what the fans want. I don't know why they would have to be told. Stupid Fox, but I don't have much faith in the writing team and they're smart. So maybe that was the case. Because when Brock Lesnar appeared for the first time in this Mania season, Heyman spoke. It was like, you know, we're going to have an open challenge. So you challenge us to call. The crowd started chanting, over, over, over. That's who they want. Maybe WWE just use that first segment as a gauge, and this second one they will bring over. I would rather that, man. I would rather not just fucking drag it out. They're gonna have a series of jobbers come out. Lesnar's gonna squash them before then, or just no one comes out every week, which is even worse. And then on the night, Femi comes on. Why would you not set up now? Why would you not have that on the billing? They're not selling tickets right now. It's still not sold out. Not close to it, I think. They're panicking. Well, Why don't you set this up? It's a fucking marquee match. Brock Lesnar, who's the beast for the last 20 years, against Femi, who's the next beast, the new beast, basically. He is Lesnar's heir apparent. Kind of built from the same cloth in a lot of ways as these dominant monster kind of packages. Just fucking, I don't know, man. If they haven't come out and no one replies to the call again, I'd, I'm speechless. Fucking speechless. 'Cause that was the biggest waste of time in his appearance a couple of weeks ago. Came out, did some talking, they just announced his dates, he's going to be there, and then no one came out for the open challenge, and then he was off on his merry way, back to Saskatchewan. They brought him from Canada for that. The fuck? Where were they that night? I think they were in St. Louis. It's a far distance. Jesus Christ. Oh, fuck you know. My favourite part of this week's Raw. I'm just going through all this stuff recall. I might miss some bits off. Even a match or two. It is what it is. There's probably some kind of fucking Gable Americano stuff. I think there was, again, where they're trying to take the mask off. Bro, they've done this every week for about fucking 8 weeks now. It's just like, well, since the Rumble, yeah, what's that, like 7 weeks? End it. End it already. Because I don't want to fucking see it anymore. And they're probably going to do this at Mania. We don't care. If they didn't do this every fucking week, we've seen the match. We've seen Gable take on every fucking different combination of the Americano. Best part of Raw. I guess we'll cover something else first because it ties into it. After their scuffle earlier on the show, Vaquer did a taped vignette promo on Liv Morgan. I've been very critical of this build so far. I think it's been dog shit. I think since Liv's got back, and Liv is one of my favourites, I don't think her work outside of it in ring stuff has been good. I think there's been a lot of flaws in this build. They were teasing for a while, and I understand why they did it. But they were teasing for a while. Oh, is Liv going to go for this championship? Is she going to go for Jade instead? Bro, no one ever thought she was going to go for Jade. It was always going to be Vaquer. So you could have just been using that time to tell stories. Maybe they're trying to sell tickets more at SmackDown or build the hype for that because you have Liv appearing on that show and Dominic Mysterio, Raquel. But then we had the build where, fuck it, I still cannot believe they did this. They had Liv cry. Your top heel on the brand, the woman they're trying to portray off as the top heel. I still think it's Becky, which is the best way, but whatever. Liv is great as well. But they had a cry after Vaquer cut a minute-long promo in Spanish without subtitles and it's fucking tape. Yeah, I know all this spelled. I'm not going to recap too much. I've not been a fan of it. This week, finally, or rather last week, was bad. I like this. They actually had subtitles on. Why not? Vaquer seems to do her best work when it's taped. I mean, she could throw in some English here and there. They were cutting to various shots of both of them. I still don't like the whole angle they're doing, where it's, I mean, it's better than Rhea and Jade. Fucking hell, we'll get to that. But the whole angle is about, you know, I deserve this. I worked up from the depths and stuff. They both did. Liv was a jobber for many years. She came from humble background. She was a Hooters waitress trying to make ends meet. Came in, kind of, as a lot of the women were starting to get featured more prominently, so it was harder to break through there. You had the Horsewomen, you had Asuka, you had Alexa, you had Ronda came in, and then fuck Ronda. Like, she's back in AEW. I saw her back in wrestling. Debuted in AEW, but fuck Ronda. But yeah, all of these were here. So it was harder for her to break through. She had to buy the time. She was with the Riot Squad. She always stood out in that, in my opinion. I always saw something in Liv. Long before she was put in that spot. But then she's kind of made through it. So I feel like this whole angle is just not really. It doesn't fit the match. They could have gone other directions, but this is like the overarching narrative of this feud, and it just makes no fucking sense to me. Not whatsoever. This was good though. I did like the passion. the vaquer. You can tell she's a, if I spoke Spanish, especially, I would be like, damn, she's a good promo. No one's really said that about her because she's not been doing it in English. It's harder to get across if you're not a speaker of Spanish. Um, but delivery was convincing. She just looked badass. The splicing of the images of Liv and Air Eyes and Vaquer and Air Eyes, I like that. Bit of a callback to their past. It's character building. We've heard so much about Vaquer coming up through Chilean, South American wrestling camps, and then in Mexico, and then she was in Japan, and she worked a lot of the indies. She was in AW briefly. Of course, I'm never going to show that. But you're seeing images of like a young Vaquer training there with her father, and then in some of her first matches, and then the same with Liv when she's coming up. I like that. Very simply done, but it's funny, if this is the formula they need to do to get Vaquer across while she's still learning English and, getting there, do it. Why not? The only downside is, I guess, they can't have her come out live and do that, but you can find other ways of getting them live. They had that scuffle earlier in the match. I thought this was really well done. Whole show between them two. Liv is not done yet, though. Later on, she was seen backstage complaining, basically, after Vaquer's vignette with the Judgment Day. She was not as unhappy as Bo, though. Dominic Mysterio was fuming, of course, because he lost the championship the week before to Penta. And, oh, that's right, Penta had a debut match last week. It was supposed to be Americano, wasn't it? Not. And then he got cursed by Danhausen. And then I think someone else came out to Penta. Yeah, it was a good match. The Judgment Day stuff was my favourite part of the show, though, for sure. Finally, it happened. Finn Balor has parted ways with the Judgment Day. I was about to say, like, did they betray him or did he betray them? I guess from there, you could argue both sides. Finn had helped, well, it prevented Dom from cheating. Dom, of course, always trying to lie, cheat, and steal his way to victory, just like Eddie. Dom prevented that the week before, and then Penta ends up winning. So tensions boiled over. Dom went out with Liv and Raquel, called out Finn. JD had earlier on gone off to look for Finn Balor, and he came out with Finn. Finn comes out to his solo music. Note that, of course, he started doing that recently. It was a sign of things to come. I expected this turn to happen. I'm surprised, and it's sad that I'm surprised that they actually did it this week. They did it right away. He lost the championship, and then they did. And this is exactly what should have happened because it gives them time to build a Mania story. That's almost certainly going to be the match: is Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor. Probably Dean and Finn Balor. But yeah, they have more time to do it. It's just WWE have a tendency to fucking delay for whatever reason. Look at Lesnar and Femi. It's just surely going to happen. So I'm pleasantly surprised they just got on with it this time. Finally, Triple H gets the picture. Just get on with it, man. Been teasing this for years. Finally happened. I thought the way it was done was great. Finn comes out. Dom had the anger required for it. You can't just go and, oh, why did you cost me? You could see he was really like looking pissed off, got right in his face. Why did you cost me this? Finn apologized for costing him the championship, but he said he basically didn't regret. He tried to teach him a lesson. Finn's been going on this big character redemption arc recently. The whole point of the story with CM Punk, we've said this, was, prove that you can stand on your own 2 feet. I remember the Finn Balor, the Bullet Club, the indie king of Europe, the great Finn Balor, one of the goats for sure of NXT, on the Mount Rushmore of NXT, in my opinion. I would have it Balor, Asuka, Gargano, and Ciampa. That's my Rushmore of NXT. And then the same Balor that won the Universal Championship, Punk was kind of tapping into that pride angle of, you're just relying on your henchmen these days, your boys and your Judgment Day. You're not doing your own. And that's rubbed off on Balor. Tried to do the same with Dominic Mysterio, and I thought his promo he cut was great. on Monday. Well, both of them were on fire. Come out and said, "Well, listen, I was trying to help you, but because if you're cheating, relying on cheating to win all the time, have you really won? You need to learn you stand on your own 2 feet and fight your own battles sometimes. If you are this great champion, fighting your own battles from time to time is important." So he said, "Well, maybe, I've come to realize maybe your dad was right. You are a spoiled little prick." Well, of course, that line didn't go down well. Great reactions. Raquel's kind of like lifted the shades up, given a bit of an eyebrow. Liv's like, "You fucking." JD just looked shocked. His face in the background was a picture. like, um, Dom pushed Balor, who then turned around and starts kind of fiddling with his jacket. And, he's going to say, "It's enough. Are they going to brawl here and now?" Overhead, Pele kick. I hate the way the Americans go, Pele, Pele kick, Pele kick. And it was on. Big brawl. They were separated for a while. Dom pulled back by Liv and Raquel. JD trying to keep Finn apart. Of course, they break apart. Dom rushes towards Finn, the opposite turnbuckle. Finn turns it to a sling blade. Uh, Backs over to the other corner, going for coup. They're going for, was it? No, coup. He was going to take him out. And then, out of nowhere, bam. JD McDonough takes Finn out. There's a clothesline. The only thing I was thinking when this was breaking down was, is this a division? JD had pulled Finn away. I mean, JD owes a lot to Finn in terms of kayfabe story. Well, in reality, really. Although JD is great. But he was brought in. Finn was his mentor, the fellow Irishman. He's who got JD into Judgment Day. So I was thinking maybe that's going to be the division. But no. JD made his choice there and then. Took out Finn. Then, of course, the beatdown. It's 4-on-1. They beat down on him. Stand tall over Finn Balor. And the build-up will begin. Is it going to be Demon Finn Balor at Mania? I think so. I think it's time we see that again. And he has to win. I'm sure he will. The only thing is now, could they have kept the IC Championship on this and just done kind of about this in another way? I don't mind the alternative. I wouldn't mind it either, honestly, because all three of them are where we are, including Penta in this. At the end of the day, I'm not going to complain if Penta win the IC Championship. It's about fucking time. The guy challenged for it about 6 times prior and never won it. He had to win. Come on. And Penta's great. I'm sure he will find his way in the card. Don't know where that's going to go. But I wouldn't mind Penta versus Javon. I wouldn't mind a Penta versus Americano, but obviously they're going to do the Americano matchup. Gable is I'm talking about. I mean, either, to be fair, Penta Kaiser would be good in the future. I'm expecting this to be a relatively long hold for Penta. Maybe the slow Obafemi down a bit after Mania, where I hope he beats Brock. He then goes to the IC Championship. I could see him winning that right away and then holding it for quite a while. Maybe not a Gunther length reign, but something like that. Speaking of Gunther, he wasn't on the show on Monday. What the fuck is he doing to me? Rey Mysterio's in there as well. I'm assuming it's going to be that because it does actually kind of make sense, taking Dragon Lee out and that beef they had. Who fucking knows though? The fact he was not on. I mean, surely he's on the main card. Surely. It would be fucking criminal to not have him on there. Unless he's got something else on. I don't know. Like some people are coming out recently and saying that Tiffany Stratton has some bodybuilding competition. No, she's going to be on the main card. Why the fuck would she have been advertising it? I think they, on SmackDown, we'll get to that, they started moving towards advertising that. Main event was, and it makes sense, the Usos came out and demanded CM Punk apologise. Punk was in the ring. His last promo until Roman's there. I think Roman's there every week now. I mean, I hope so. He's definitely here tonight. Roman and Brock are both on the show tonight. But Punk had said the line the week prior, referencing Roman's dead father. Sifa, was it? Which one was it? I forget. Punk had name dropped him, and they went into the history of. I didn't actually know. Punk was working at this guy's company for quite a while when he was younger. He even babysat once. He said at one point, he was like, which was an honor. Um, and they really tapped into that, but it made sense. The Usos are bound to be furious. I don't mind this, at the end of the day, it beats Punk coming out and having to talk to no one because Roman wasn't there. So for that week dead, that is exactly why they did Deadline the week prior, I think. Oh, well, next week we can have Jay and Jimmy, and it gives them a reason to be angry. Are we even maybe looking at a Bloodline reunion? There's some talk about maybe Roman going heel afterwards. I think that might have cooled a bit because a lot of people are looking at, spoiler alert. I'm sure people have heard by now, but spoiler alert. It was looking like face Punk versus face Roman. I say face Roman's still like he sucks heelish, but people cheer. He's an unofficial crowd anointed face. Then you have face Cody Rhodes versus face Randy Orton. Well, Randy's gone heel. A lot of people are saying, oh, one of them four has to go heel, at least. So maybe it's just the one. I don't know that. I could maybe see them bringing the bloodline back. They're fucking desperate. WWE, they're struggling. AEW are actually kicking their ass right now, which is kind of wild. Because AEW had a shit 2025 as well, but I'm hearing good things about AEW this year. Um, it's just it's such a backward step though to go back to Bloodline. Maybe it was just a 1 week thing to fill the gap, until tonight when Roman is there and he can confront Punk himself. It's the problem with fucking part timing, son. And why, if Punk continues on this kind of schedule, I do not, Roman, sorry, continues on this kind of schedule, I do not want him to win that match in Mania. I'm very much Team Punk. But yeah, I could see them do it. I could see them bringing back the Bloodline because it was what worked for them. Triple H had his big success under that, which began under Vince. We'll point out. A lot of detractors of Vince, what he did in his private life, of course, and his scandals, and rightly so. Guy was a creep. Guy was always a creep. Some of the shit he did on national television, are people surprised, unfortunately. A lot of these big billionaires, they're all to shame shit. But Triple H's greatest accomplishment was started by Vince. Bloodline. Go figure, man. I thought the Usos did well. The better when the passionate like that. Jay was really agitated, moving back and forth. Jimmy, who is a better promo, I think, uh, put some harsh words on on Punk. It was no apologize. They asked to ask him a few times. Punk was kind of skating around it. Punk almost went heelish himself for the promo. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I apologize. I apologize that Roman was a dickhead to you. He was never held accountable for a lot of the shit he said and did to you and to everyone else during his 1,300-day reign. And I hate the fact that no one is demanding apologies of him or ever has. Never did apologize for the way he treated his cousins. He's got a fucking point. It's completely true. I mean, this was great, man. Punk this year, last year was a bit hit and miss. But man, he's doing some fine work right now. This is a really, really good championship run at the moment. Much better than Rollins' run. I mean, didn't have it long, I guess, but much better than Rollins' run last year. Not even going to attempt to compare it to Jey Uso's run, because fuck me, it was one of the worst title runs I've ever seen. Better than Gunther's run, even. I love Gunther. Yeah, then Punk. This might legit be the best World Heavyweight Championship reign so far. He pointed out that the belt was only created because Roman wouldn't come to Raw to defend it, basically. When he was on SmackDown the whole time. Which is another really valid point. Yeah, still just a way he cut it. It kind of came off a little heelish, which is interesting, but Good stuff. Good stuff from all three men involved. And excited to see Roman back tonight. Both face-offs with Punk so far have been really good. And honestly, this is carrying the Mania season build so far, this match. Cody, Randy has a lot of work to go, but there was a good start there on SmackDown. We'll come to SmackDown in a sec. I'm going to scare over NXT, sadly, and I hate to say this. I hate this, but I've kind of fallen out of it recently. They'd had a lot of call ups, of course, so you have to take a few steps backwards sometimes in NXT to go forward. You build the new guys, etc. But I've just not really been watching as much lately. I did watch not weekend just gone, the one before. I did watch the PLA Vengeance. It was really good, I thought. I was happy with it. I thought the opening match was the best match. The street fight between Jada and Blake. Blake won that, which I think was the right decision. She needed a fucking win, man. Holy shit. She is the woman of that division, and that's a really fucking good roster as well. The women's division NXT, man. It goes deep. The women's division for all of WWE. Honestly, NXT's division might be better than SmackDown's women's division. Genuine. None of them are as big stars as like a Charlotte or Alexa or a Bianca. I'm not going to count Rhea as part of SmackDown at the moment, even though she's on there during this poll. But yeah, just in terms of like depth, there's so much depth from Tatum. You have Blake, you have Jada, you have Lola, you have Kalani, you have JC, you have Izzy, you have Kendall. Kendall's Gray has relinquished the Evolve Championship last week as well, so she's making an official move to NXT. As well as like, Fallon Henley, I think is great. Very underrated. Laney Reed, who had an absolute banger. Sol Ruka, how could I forget Sol? Probably the best of all of them. Zarya, Renton Clare is great as well. Fia Hale, I don't mind. I don't care much, but I don't mind. And she's got youth on her side. It's a deep roster, man. The women, once again, Joey's boss. I thought Lola and Kalani had a decent match on the card. I would say decent because I think they've had better. I think they had better on NXT about a month prior, honestly. These two always work well together. Always have good matches. So maybe they just set a pretty high bar. This is an underground match or whatever the fuck that means, you know. Lola come out looking like the big UFC background, MMA, Bellator background that she has. The braids and all this shit. Looking tough, like Natty. Same with Kalani. That was a decent match. I thought Dion and Tony D was great. John Lennox and Darkseid were there waiting outside the whole time. They had a big backstage brawl that just moved through all the backstage into the ring. Ring bell goes. Now it was like 7-8 minutes after that. And then the main event was decent as well. For Joe Hendry retains against Ricky Saints. Bro, like if you look match by match, quality by quality of like all the PLEs, and you compare the main roster to NXT, it's a fucking whitewash. NXT's PLEs are so much better than main rosters. Since I started watching again at the start last year, it's not even got close. Excuse me. It's quite a number of NXT PLEs in a row now that I've really enjoyed. Whether I'm watching NXT weekly or not, or just catching up on highlights. It's basically what I'm doing right now. Sadly, since the turn of the year, um, I will still always watch PLEs, and this was really good, really really good. It's helped that there's another one. Izzy and Tatum. Tatum won the North American Championship. I'm very very happy with that. Another reason why I kind of started watching a bit more was Tatum and Blake are my two favourites in NXT. Full stop, either gender. And they kind of took a backseat, really, over the last few months. Man, we were eating good. After Halloween Havoc, which is another PLA I love. Blake was the NA champ. Tatum was the NXT champ. Within this like no time at all. They both fucking lost it. Blake, of course, there was the infamous botch against Thea Hale, and Tatum just lost it a few weeks later. Izzy Dane and the Cullen turned on her, and JC wins it back. Finally, they're starting to do more prominent things. Tatum had been feuding constantly with Izzy since then, which is quite a long time now. That has to have ended now, surely. I'm pretty sure last Tuesday Izzy came out and tried to call Tatum out again. So maybe they drag it out to Stand and Deliver, which is like their mania, is in a few weeks' time. It's on the 4th of April, I think. So real quick turnaround between shows here. Maybe they drag this out until then. I feel like they've done enough singles matches. They need to incorporate something new. I feel like they might do a triple threat because there was a tease where Tatum was seen backstage encountered Blake, who's being interviewed, or just talking to Robert Stone, was it? And they kind of teased that this week on NXT. I would love that as well. It'd be a bit unfortunate for Izzy. She's kind of directionless. And this long-winded feud since, November now, doesn't run up until Stand and Deliver with Tatum. But they've had 3 singles matches now. It's 2 on to Tatum. Is that enough? Johnny think, oh, my computer's running low on storage space, it said. Fuck. Well, I'm gonna have to delete stuff as we talk. Oh, it's gonna end the. Oh shit. I have like 3 previous VODs I can delete. My bad. I have to just do this quickly. It's either that or it just cuts off. It just cuts me completely off. Alright, that's 4.27 gigabytes worth of video deleted. Should be fine now. Thank God for that notification. I got but yeah, I'll move on from NXT anyway, because I'm interested in the women's division because it's so fucking great. Lady Reed and Sol Reaper had a fucking banger last week. But yeah, with the men, they're trying to get more people over. Dion's on the rise for sure. Miles Bourne won the NA Championship recently against Ethan Page. Ethan Page for sure is coming to the main roster after me. I'm almost certain of it. It's about time as well. This guy's fucking great, man. In what capacity? I do not know. Maybe they'll add him to the division. If Bronson Reed's out like long term, I can maybe see that. But then what you do when Reed's back? Bron Breaker's hopefully going to be back soon. Who knows? But I just don't see them bringing Ethan up before me. I'm fucking starving, by the way. I've not eaten all day, so I'm going to try and recap SmackDown a lot quicker. SmackDown was pretty mid this week, honestly. God, I'm getting belly rumblings already. I'm going to have to wrap this up quick. The main story was, of course, Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. They had a big contract signing because they love this shit. So overdone. But you've got to do it. Every Mania season, there has to be a big contract signing. And how many times as well in the past there's been a heel turn on a contract term? Or a big swerve? Well, it happened again. And I'll hold my hands up. I did not expect this. I'm glad it happened. I still think Cody turning heel I would have preferred, honestly. But here's what it is. I guess until maybe they don't have someone else to step into that Cody void as the biggest face on SmackDown, the biggest face in the company, arguably. They're not going to do it. Another trope they really, they really fucking love, man. Cody has to bleed every Mania season. They did the big contract signing. They're kind of talking really nice. There's big friendliness between them. Mentor Orton was to Rhodes. And then it went to shit. One thing I'll say is, man, like, it's hard to argue with turning Randy heel because he's just so goddamn good at it. He's such a great asshole. Like he always has been. He's always been a natural heel. But this assault he did is one of the best looking assaults I've ever seen. I grew up in the Attitude Era, which was full of brawlers and big chair shots weren't really like ruled out there. No, there was a lot more blood back in that day. It was just a lot more rougher. But Triple H tapped into his Attitude Era days with this. This was great. Like Randy, they shake hands, embrace, bam, head whacked on the table. He then low blows him. Didn't waste any time about it. Randy Orton just went it. No, the way he tapped him, it was like, I've been waiting for this for a long time. I don't think so, and I'm not sure necessarily it's going to go with that angle of, oh, I actually hate you, Cody. No, like a Punk and Roman angle right now is they actually hate you, and you can believe that. I don't think it'll be the case with Orton. It's simply the thing I love the most is the championship. I want the number 15. I don't give a fuck who's in the way. I'm going to unleash the Viper. I'm going to listen to the voices and destroy whoever's in my path, no matter who it is. But I'm going to get the job done that way, the best way I know how. I think that is kind of the vibe they're going with. And why not? Why the fuck not? Randy Orton is great as a heel. He's great either way, but yeah, man, I was just watching. I was like, oh damn, I do kind of miss this. Think back to how good his work was in like '09, especially how unhinged. What a fucking menace he was as a heel. We could have something like that. Well, one last great heel run of Randy Orton. I hope he wins it as well, honestly. I'm fully team Randy. And so were Seattle. Was it Seattle they were in this Friday? I think it was. You know, the crowd. He does a big heel turn, and the crowd start cheering against the QB1 face of the company, Cody Rhodes, and the crowd start cheering Randy, Randy. What does that tell you, WWE? The fans are getting really fatigued with Cody when he's championship. That Ram video I did, I was not alone. It got 200,000 dislikes, that video. Although apparently a large portion of it was some sad cunt, let's face it, some sad devil, who was on Twitter showing screenshots as proof that he'd bought a fuckload of bots. This guy spent hundreds of dollars of his own money to some bot site, app, whatever the fuck, some program that flooded the video with dislikes. There are still a lot of other dislikes on top of that, though, that are legit people, I think. So, is it going to work if the crowd is still going to cheer on? Probably not. There's going to be two programs in a row. The crowd were cheering McIntyre. There's Cody as well. Could you, like I said, Orton's such a good heel that, and there is so much story to work with between the two if they do choose to go that way. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be they hate each other angle, but you could still tap into a lot of their past and tell an engaging story, and I think they will. Maybe some resentfulness here or there, Orton could be like, "Oh, I was the guy who trained you. I was your mentor, and you left me. You left this company. You started a rival company." You could tap into all that. Orton, like, I brought you to my home, WWE. This has always been the Orton's home. There's work there, but with the crowd reaction to Cody versus McIntyre when Drew won the championship, and Cody here versus Randy when Randy turned heel. Think what a heel Cody turn would have done. This man would have got legit heat, legit boo. Fans want to boo him, well, now they have a reason to boo. I feel like it would have been better, man. But still, I was wrong. I didn't predict a heel turn. One of the reasons why I was so furious that Cody won was because I was like, I just don't see them doing this big turn from one of them on a random SmackDown. But they did right away. Again, similar to the Judgment Day thing. I think if they were going to do it, they had to get a move on. I was thinking maybe they might do some kind of turn at Mania itself or after the match in some way. Yeah, maybe Randy wins and Cody just snaps and lays him out. That would have, I wouldn't have minded that. Um, but yeah, this was really good stuff. And, it has at least injected something into a feud that I, quite frankly, didn't really care about. Well, I did. I just, because everyone's always wanted to see this, the history out, but I felt like it had come at the wrong time. I still feel like that to some degree because I feel like there's not been that real build up of long term tension between the two. And then it was just bam, heel turn like that. But I suppose it does still fit Randy's character somewhat. He was always someone who could just snap like that. The Viper, at the end of the day. Elsewhere in SmackDown, McIntyre and Fatu looks like it's going to happen. We'll wrap this up quick. I'm almost an hour into this video. I don't intend to go longer than an hour, and I'm starving. So yeah, we'll wrap this up quickly. Unfortunately, I won't recap as much. I'll just give my base thoughts on it. I'm excited for this match. I think it should be good. I don't really see why they did this Drew quit angle, only for him to then later on appear and cost um, Fatu in the it wasn't the main event. The main event was contract sign, but the main event match, the final match of the show, Fatu took on Trick Williams, got beat by Trick because of interference by McIntyre. It was the quit angle just to throw Fatu and the crowd off the sense of, oh well, Drew's gone home now. Like anyone believes that shit. I don't care. Either way, how many fucking times this man quit the show in the last 6 months alone? Twice? Is it 3 times maybe? It might be 3 times. Oh, he's quit, or he's been barred, he's been suspended, or every fucking week there's something different. I get you trying to sow tension between him and the authority that is Nicholas. Well, fucking hell, man. Like, when he's quitting himself, he just looks like a bitch. Oh, I lost my championship, I quit, fuck it. You can do it as long as you don't overdo it. But that's tip of the iceberg for the Fury out some time. They're blocking of Drew McIntyre. Guy's fucking amazing. Give me season. Yeah, that should be a good match at least, Mania. And they've got something to work with there. Um, Kit Wilson interrupted Jelly Roll, who was out there being interviewed by The Miz. Bro, like, this is one thing I completely forgot to address when I did my Unreal review, WWE Unreal review at the start of the year. I liked Jelly Roll's match at SummerSlam. I did not think I would. When they were first building up to it, it was kind of viral. There we go. The celebrity guests in, big PLEs. The matches, he was shit. Unless you're Bad Bunny. I don't really give a fuck for it. All credit to him, though, man. Like, in WWE and Real as well, shown afterwards, already after SummerSlam, in the build up to it, I was like, man, you know what? This guy, I can tell he's like, he cares. He's putting the effort in. He's appearing week in, week out. He's doing these promos, and he's actually legit good promo. Bro, this last week, I was watching this man cut promo. I was like, this guy is a better talker than most fucking roster in SmackDown. How is this possible? Maybe they should send him out as a fucking sound piece, and he could cut the promo for Rhea and Jade. If not Alexa, who could do the same. Fucking hell. One of the big championship matches, neither of them can cut promo, and you have Jelly Roll as a celebrity, come on, and he's spitting bars. I don't know ever care to see him have a Mania match though, because it's Mania, man. Like, there's undoubtedly going to be some casualties, some people left off the card. Where I'm looking at it, like, as much as Jelly Rolls obviously cared, and he did fine in SummerSlam, like he didn't embarrass himself or anything. He lost a lot of weight. You saw an Unreal, the training he went through, the passion he had for it. And he just seemed a really nice, humble guy. Good luck to him. Fair play to him. I don't know if I want to see it again at Mania. I don't mind in like a B level PLE or even like a SummerSlam. SummerSlam's second biggest show of the year to market as. I still consider the Rumble a second field. Uh, you, something like Survivor Series, another big 4-1, or you could put them Money in the Bank or one of the Saudi. I don't know if Saudi shows are going to, but whatever. You could slot them anywhere. I'm on Backlash, maybe. I'm not going to hate on it. I'm not going to boo or anything like that. Like, I'm going to watch the match and wish him luck. If, and I assume he is, going to be in a Mania match, because I don't know why else he would have been there. Um, I'm not going to begrudge him that, I guess, but yeah, I had to give my opinion though. I still feel like it's pretty rough for whoever's going to miss out. You know, is Mallow even going to be on the card? Is Ilya even going to be on the card? Is LA Knight even going to be a card? Surely he will. But Jelly Roll is looking like he's going to get much. Who's that going to be against as well, man? He had this kind of running with the Miz. Are we really doing the Miz and Jelly Roll at Mania? It's such a WWE move, man. It's a thing Vince would do. I don't know if Triple H would, but who the fuck knows, man? Big Gunther versus Pat McAfee, a fucking backlash last year. And some of the people in the writers' room wanted fucking McAfee to beat. I could not believe that I was watching Unreal. I was like, you should have been fired on the spot for suggesting that Bruce Pritchard. You stupid bellend. Fucking Vince's avatar, Ronda Rousey, I was critical of Ronda before, but she was spot on. She was so right, man. Oh, fucking. In Unreal, Jelly Roll had to convince them not to let the face team win as well. Could have been silly. Yes, he stood alongside Randy Orton, who's one of the legends in business, but they're up against two actual wrestlers. I do not consider Logan Paul like a celebrity wrestler anymore. He's full time. He's a wrestler. Logan and McIntyre, they wanted them to win. I could see the Miz going in and definitely being like, oh, I don't mind losing to Jelly Roll. At the end of the day, respect to Miz for doing it. Like, who cares if Miz loses? He's not someone for the future. He's not one of the top guys anymore. He is there to put other people over, which is what he does, and he does well. He's a good talker. This week's segment was kind of the perfect thing for Miz, really. He'd got cursed by Danhausen beforehand. And Kit Wilson come out. Could we? Are we gonna end up with? It's like all the meme acts. We're gonna end up with Jelly Roll and Danhausen versus the Miz and Kit Wilson. I mean, it, it wouldn't surprise me. But it's the kind of shit they do. Oh, for the love of God, though. God help us, man. I could absolutely see them doing. You get all the catchphrase merchants on there and stuff. I mean, bro, they've just had Damon Priest and R-Truth, who are like this makeshift tag team, win the number one contendership for the tag titles. Like, ugh. No hate on Priest and Tree. I love them both, but it strikes me as a potential novelty tag team for me. You know what I mean? Like a comedy one. You had the same way, that's not to say a bad thing. Look at Booker T and Goldust. They were a comedy tag team back in the day. They were great. Fucking love them. Team Hell No. Kane and RVD. Yeah, Kane and RVD. They were a tag team at one point. They were good. Kane and Daniel Bryan. Yeah, they kind of tapped into that. Something like RK Bro. These unlikely tag teams sometimes work. Um, but WWE loves these kind of like comedy characters, sports entertainment characters, like the Truth, like Dan Housen. Kit Wilson's kind of becoming that. It's kind of got a soundbite. Everyone likes his theme and the sound of it. They kind of, he's kind of getting over. He's not like majorly over, but he's kind of getting over. I could see them doing a kind of silly novelty match of getting all these people on the card. Genuinely. Does it scream Mania to me? Fuck no. It's a Saturday night main event match. If that. I would even say it's a B level match, that tag match I put. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Why else would Jelly Roll be on the show? Maybe he was just in town. Yeah, the guy actually legit cut a better promo than most of the fucking roster. Go figure. What does that say about the rest of the roster, man? Elsewhere, God, MFTs and Wyatts again. Bro, this is killing SmackDown. SmackDown's been bad this year, but oh my god. I can't even say I was critical of the Americana vortex with each other, Gable and Kaiser since the Rumble. That's not a patch up on fuck this is. Why are they still doing this? How long have they been feuding? It's like September, I think. Fucking just end it already. No one gives a shit. It's awful. Both groups are dying a death for it. They're both killing the tag. They both killed the tag division because the WWE, in their infinite wisdom, tried to make the fans give a fuck about this feud by putting the tag titles in there. It just buried one of the best tag divisions there was in the world last year. Look at the state of it now. God, this match, bro. But for the second week in a row, that the Wyatts win, get the Lantern. Nikki Cross had taken it back. The week before, it was Uncle Howdy took it. And then it's stolen back off them. So the feud continues because the MFT still have the Lantern. The shitty little Lantern. What are we doing? What the fuck is it? It's just, move them apart, break them apart, and give them something else to do, these fucking groups. Problem is, you have no other factions or groups that like as big in terms of numbers on the show, so it's kind of natural. They're like, oh, there's five on this one, five on this one, let's have them collide. I'm losing patience with even being polite with this. This is awful. I do not want to see this. This is turn off the TV. Shit for me now. When you do the same thing, the exact same thing, 2 weeks in a row, with a feud that's already been going on half a year, that has never really felt like it's had a resolution. One team wins, the other team wins. Neither feel better off for it. It's ridiculous. At this point, honestly, oh my god, I can't even say. I would even not be bothered if they gave them a fucking Mania match, but it was Howdy versus Solo for the bragging rights of the land, whatever the fuck. If it ended the feud and they never go cross each other's path again for the rest of mankind, for the rest of eternity, I would even take that. But at least during that, I could be like, you know what? Well, I'll go for a smoke. I'll make the tea. I'll come back. Maybe it's over, and I never have to see this shit on the weekly again. Fuck no! What are we doing? I had high hopes for the Wyatts. I wanted it to work. It's just not. MFTs. I'm just done with it. I don't care. Give me a reason to care. WWE. They don't. So many things they try and do, or the like angles they start, and they just fucking leave. What was with? Remember Ilya was champ, and which one was it? I can't even fucking tell them apart. They're that unremarkable. Tamatonga, I think, was eyeing the championship. They kind of had some run-ins and stuff, and then they started doing that with him and Shinsuke. They were passed in NJPW Japan, but when's his fucking US championship match? This guy's just never had one. He keeps getting sucked back in with the fucking Wyatts instead. So many times as they this year they do little shit like this. I remember NXT one week, Titan Paxley, when she was champ, goes backstage. Ricky Saints is kind of like he was still face at this point. He's kind of like treating his wounds and that, and they have kind of interaction. Titan was like walks off, and then Ricky was kind of like, "Oh damn, she's kind of crazy, but I like it." Kind of teasing they were gonna do some kind of angle, maybe romance angle or team up, whatever the fuck, or a faction, and then they just dropped it. Bailey with the split personality, the voices just kind of taps into the crazy side occasionally. Ding dong, you idiots! But they kind of dropped that. They were really like leaning into that for a while. so often, man. It's like they start something and they have no idea where it's going. And it's a problem, consistent problem with the writing, and it sums up the lack of writing and creative. It's fucking company else. Oh. Speaking of baffling, bro, women's tag titles were on the line. Charlotte Knox won a number one contending match against Julia Kiana the week before. They take on the irresistible forces, Nia and Lash, in their first defense. Was expecting Nia and Lash to win. I thought it'd be via nefarious means. They're heels after all. But I didn't think they'd have them lose the titles immediately. Um, I couldn't rule out the possibility Charlotte Knox would win it though, because at the end of the day, they are the big name tag team around right now. They, in terms of star power and name prestige, they were the biggest tag team of the last year in WWE, even bigger than Rhea and Neo, I'd say. Rhea and Neo are in a better position in 2026 for sure. They're biggest right now in terms of name prestige, etc. Charlotte Knox with 19 world championships between them, all that. So I was like, maybe they'll put the championships on them to try and sell that match for Mania. I'm sure they'll still be involved in some way, but I don't think they'll go any stronger. Similarly, they're obviously very high in that Lash, especially. Would they have them lose the first championship? I didn't expect it. They had the Kabuki Warriors lose their first defense against Rio. But, it's a little different. They're established, they're multiple time champs. Would they do that to Lash? I didn't think they would. I was extra certain when John Lexa came out, and before Nine Lash came out, the fucking Bella Twins come on. Oh, ugh. They start talking shit. Well, we're just here to have a ringside seat. Whoever wins this match, we've got next. The fuck do you mean we've got next? Just no one asked questions in the fucking writer's room. How are you going to explain this shit? They do it every time. The amount of times in the last few months alone I've said this. I cannot fucking believe. Ugh, bro. Cannot believe how many times. Even with people I like, like AJ Lee, why the fuck did she even get an IC championship match against Becky? That one you can excuse a little more. She did make Becky tap at WrestlePalooza and War Games, but she hadn't had a singles match over a decade. She hadn't, these things, that was September, November, and she got a match in February after disappearing for weeks. Is there no kind of kayfabe ladder system here? Play? The fuck are the GMs doing? All you have to do is walk in, ask for a match, apparently. Ivy Nile got a match against Maxime Dupree for the IC Championship when Maxime was champion. Ivy hadn't had a match in 6 months on the main roster. 6 fucking months. She just strolled in, got a match. The fuck? Who have the Bella Twins wrestled? They haven't even wrestled as a team yet. Since Brie came back. Brie came back at the Rumble. They appeared on the Raw the following night, announced their declaration to go for the tag championships. So I thought, maybe there'll be a series of matches, etc. over a couple of weeks where they'll mix with other teams, and the tag championships are not exactly the most prestigious thing in WWE, despite the work that Shawn Michaels and Rio did last year, and indeed Bianca and Naomi together, Bianca and Jade as well. Liv and Raquel held it, it's got better for sure. I think the treatment of them over the last year has been much better. But they are championships you would expect to see defended every few weeks on TV or like every month. I was thinking that maybe do that with the Bella Twins then. They haven't had a single match as a team. Disappeared the night after the Rumble for 5-6 weeks. They were gone. You stroll back in. Oh yeah, we've got next. Why? It makes no sense. You can't sell me on a match if I think the person who's getting the shot has not earned the shot whatsoever in any way, shape, or form. Like I said, everyone knew there'd be some kind of fuckery here. And there was. I thought it was actually well done. I thought the match was sloppy in a sense of kayfabe. It was kind of the ref kept losing control. A lot of times, both women were in, or they were on the outside. It wasn't like a clean match from kayfabe perspective. But I think it actually worked, and it fit the match. It felt more like a fight. Uh, Culminated in Charlotte going to kick Nia, I think. Nia moving out. This was really smoothly done. Nia moving out of the way. And I think Charlotte kicked Nikki, was it? Knocked her off. And then Nia's pushed Brie over. She just went fucking Heartland. So both teams, you're kind of thinking, oh, who are the Bellas going to fuck over it? Because they've both been laid out by members of different teams now. Charlotte inadvertently, of course. But Charlotte Alexa basically got the match won. Um, who was it? I think Nia was down. Alexa went in position for Twisted Bliss, and then out of nowhere, Brie comes in, starts assaulting Nia, who they pushed her, and it causes a DQ. So then this coming week on SmackDown, it's going to be Nia and Lash versus the Bella Twins. There was a backstage segment afterwards with Charlotte and Alexa, basically like, yeah, what the fuck was that? You just cost us our shot, you stupid fox. And the Bella Twins were basically like, oh, we don't care really. No, we got it. Don't care who we face. We've got a shot next week. So quite clearly, there's probably going to be another interference from Charlotte. Like, so I'm just going to keep doing that, bro. I do not care. Like Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, two of the biggest stars in the division. What are they doing in the tag division still? I would rather they'd face each other, have that big breakup feud at Mania, than using them in a tag match that's going to involve Nia and Lash, who we do not care for, and the fucking Bella Twins. Oh god, are you going to get other teams involved in this? You could maybe. I'm sure if Roxanne was there, she was not involved in the Judgment Day thing this week, but she will side with Raquel, etc. Sure, if she was there, maybe Raquel and Roxanne would get involved in the story. Maybe Bailey and Lyra after tonight. I don't expect Bailey will win. Maybe you draft Chelsea and Alba Fire in. If Chelsea's recovered in time, who knows? It's a waste of their talents, I think. I still would have had Charlotte and Alexa as the championship match. Sure. I let Charlotte dethrone Jade the moment it was clear Bianca was not going to come back. I would have had Alexa win the chamber, turn on Charlotte, and then done well. So we did so much better than what we're getting right now. It's a nice segue into the next part. Fucking hell. Rhea versus Jade has been abysmal so far. Absolute dog shit. Neither of them doing themselves any favours here. They did good work on social media. That got people up, that got people interested. And WWE in their infinite wisdom, so I'll cut them some slack here, Rhea and Jade. It's quite clear WWE really micromanage. You've seen in Unreal how much they micromanage matches and stuff. And this is why some people have left over the years or said they don't like the system or it's just not for them. Tony Storm's a great example. You've seen Tony have great success when she went to AEW and do her own thing, which is giving a bit more leeway, a bit more creative input, a bit more autonomy over what she does, what she says. I'm sure they have an idea of what she's going to say in general in a program, but not word for word. I feel like WWE literally, it would not surprise me if they go for it almost like bullet point by bullet point. Not just, oh, we're going to go out there and do an angle where, I say she's not gone through hard times. I'm referencing live like a story here. WWE probably is like, do one bullet point, you're going to say that. This kind of thing to start with, and that kind of thing. Paraphrasing what you're going to say. So they've kind of nerfed them and really like neutered them. They could have tapped into the social media storm they created, no pun intended, Jade did, but they didn't. They had to make the show of Rhea, I respect you, and blah blah blah. Jade, I respect you, blah, blah. No, the fuck are we doing, man? Jade's been marketed as the biggest heel in SmackDown, and they're doing this. Bro, all it's boiled down to in the last 2 weeks. Oh my fucking god, I'm vindicated and hate. Imagine a promos we could have had shot. So fucking. Instead, we get my muscles are bigger than yours. My arms are bigger than yours. I'm that bitch. My muscles are bigger than yours. I've been round this ring longer than you. My arms are bigger than yours. Mommy's always on top, and I'm going to prove that I'm that bitch. What next, man? They've already exhausted the catchphrase. That's all they've done. They've just come out and cut catchphrases on each other. So that's all they know how to do. I've said this for a while. Rhea has everything except this. She needs someone there to kind of carry the load of storytelling. She doesn't really know what to say. She just says the most generic chat GPT shit. Blah, 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 mommy's always. That's the big me from last year, especially. See how many title matches she had last year? I'm going to come back and win that title because mommy's always. And Jade is the exact same. Exact same. You come out here, do blah blah. Well, I'm bigger than you. I'm gonna beat you. I'm not bitch. Oh, there's no substance to it. There's no crux to anything they're saying. It's just such fucking templated, scripted bullshit. How? If they're micromanaging it, or kind of restraining them from saying what they really want to say. Jade was a savage online. I'm saying she's ass, she's shit, she's this, she's that. Maybe she is good at promos. Maybe she gets in front of the camera and gets camera shy. I don't know. When she's on social media, she did generate some hype by implying Rhea Ripley was interfering with creative, going into the writer's office and stuff like that. The WWE didn't like that though, with the big cash cow Rhea Ripley, so they had to nuke that angle, and it's hard to watch. This it really is. I don't even have hope the match is going to be good. Is the thing as well. Like Jesus, man. Rhea's great in the ring. Rhea can put on bangers, but Jade is very limited. Jade did wrestle this week into Michin. Again, I actually don't think this is a bad match. I said this with Jade against Jordan recently, but again, it might sound like hate code if you're a fan of hers, but I do genuinely think it's the case. I think she was carried. I think it was Michin doing all the work, making it look good. Michin wrestled well. Michin does wrestle well. I think that Michin lacks is any kind of character, or she's just not over. So I would release her, honestly. As harsh as it is, just gotta happen. They see something with BFAB. He was talking to someone, and it was unrevealed who. Maybe BFAB's going to join Jade. Could cost Rhea. I think if Jade wins, they're not going to really lose clean because they don't do that often. She does lose sometimes, but very rarely clean. A lot of the time when she'd lost in the past, they put her in like in a triple threat. She didn't even take the pin. For example, last year's Mania, that was Bianca who did that. Man. I would actually rather have seen Tiffany versus Jade again. Because at least Tiffany can cut prone. You know, it's just bad. Rhea and Io's another one who can't really cut promos. She can scream in Japanese and stuff. Well, what does that do for me? But you just fucking know they're gonna have a banger at the end of it. So I accept that. Like I'm fine with that. But I have no idea what this Jade match is gonna look like. Jade match has been fine recently with Jordan Grace and with Meechin, so I have some kind of hope for that. But I don't think it excuses Mania build. It's a long build, man. We're gonna have a month for this. Another 4 shows of listening to the same shit. Because they just cut the same promo 2 weeks running, basically. And it was even worse because Rhea came out and Jade run off, basically. The fuck are you doing? She's supposed to be this all conquering, they portray her as this dominant force, and she's turned heel. Yes, Tiffy was selling an injured leg, but Jade pinned her in like 4 minutes, 5 minutes, was it? That's Saturday night's main event to win the title. It's a smarter way of booking Jade, I guess, because she very much is Jade Berg. She is the female Hulk Goldberg in that she can't wrestle too long. They have to be kind of short matches, and she just kind of destroys the opponent in 7-8 minutes. 7-8 minutes is still decent length, but for a Mania match, are they going to do that? I feel like they kind of have to. It's not getting the best out of Rhea Ripley as well, who could easily go out there with someone or multiple women and have a 30-minute banger match of the night. She did it last year. Best match of the year, my opinion. Rhea and they're my two. She was involved in my 2 favorite matches last year. And going into Mania, even a Jade. Oh fuck! But the most egregious part right now, I'm going to hate on it, is the build or the lack of build. I just do not give a fuck. In 2 weeks, they've lost me. Completely lost me. And they had that hook of social media. So I blame WWE as well for making the move away from that. Go figure, man. Or was it Rhea herself? I don't know. I mean, she complained. She was crying basically on social media, moaning about it. Put something before her first mini season appearance on SmackDown after winning the Chamber. Oh, time to go to work, I guess. It's kind of like a huff. But I'm win the fucking Chamber then. If you're going to throw your toys out the pram. Because Jade's cut maybe like a shoot promo on you. Maybe she cut too close to home. I don't know. Rhea Ripley's great, but it's undeniable she's favoured. She's one of Triple H's favourites. God, man, it makes me think some fucking conspiracy stuff here. Undoubtedly, she's fantastic. I'm not denying that. But bro, and like, she's dressed up as fucking looking like China. And he goes up and he hugs her. You see her as unreal. This guy's... I don't sound like some woke tart, but he's holding the hug quite a while. He's proper getting in there. She's barely dressed. She's in a wrestling attire. You trying to talk to her, you great after you blah 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 blah. I don't think the audience is that loud outside. It's normally not making a fucking pee. You have to get that close. Like you're in a fucking club to talk to someone. You have to hug them for that long. He definitely has a thing for this woman. If you were that upset, should have said no to win the Chamber. There's a lot of rumour, a lot of throwing out there on social media. Maybe they forced a hand. No, look, you're an employee. You do what we say. We want you to win the Chamber. There's a lot of implication from Rhea recently that she would have preferred to have been working with Io, either alongside her or opposite her at Mania. Opposite her would have been ideal. If you're that big a name for them, that important, Rhea, and she is, you could have gone in and said no. I don't want to win this match. I don't think it's right. I think it should be someone else. Alexa should have won the Chamber, without question. What are we doing here, man? Fucking hell. Ugh. Moving on. Speaking of things that don't make sense, out of nowhere, Julia and Tiffany were talking this week like they've been beefing. They had some interactions when Julia was in her first US Championship reign and Tiffany was still WWE champ. They're basically forced into that because Naomi had left to Raw. Bianca was still injured. Charlotte and Alexa were in the tag division. There was no one else. And Chelsea had been buried by everyone all summer, as had Zelina. They've been jobbing away. There was no one else. So they started kind of teasing a feud between them two. In the month or so, about a month prior to Jade turning heel and then taking the championship off Tiffany, which might have been forced forward, honestly. I think she was legit injured, Tiff. She was out for a couple of months. Maybe they just wanted to cool off or take a break or whatever. She had a big year. Who knows? But They haven't really had any interaction since then. Not since Tiffany got back, certainly. Julia and Tiffany, all of a sudden, they were just talking on Friday like they'd been beef. I don't know why. The end result, I don't really care if it means the end result is that they get a mania match or they kind of try and could work in some other women into this. It'll probably be Julia vs Tiffany though. I don't mind. Like that'll be a good match. It'd be nice to see the. I mean, fucking hell, the women's US title is never defended on a PLE, barely, let alone a Mania. So maybe that's wishful thinking. It could just be a random SmackDown match. I don't know, man. Like I said, there's still some rumors that Tiffany won't be at Mania, because she's in for some bodybuilding competition or some bullshit. I didn't buy her. She was in all the promotional videos. I don't see why they put her in that if she was not going to be there. So this probably is a match. The rumor from the day sheets was it was supposed to be Julia versus Jordan Grace versus um, Tiffany. But unfortunately, Jordan Grace injured her ankle in a main event match or a dark match. I think it was a main event match against Alba Fire recently. So yeah, that's sad. What they got to say? It just reminded me of injuries. God, this made me laugh. Tiffany started cutting her. She's in the mirror doing her makeup. She looks $1,000,000. I always thought, actually, I think Tiffany looks much better these days. I think she's reduced. I hate to say this. I hate to be get into like the aesthetic aspect of the women's stuff, but I'm a rebel of male. Generally. I'll just comment on. I would look as part of the overall package. I guess I feel like Tiffany was too caked in makeup a lot of times last year. She looks better now. She's downplayed it a little, done a little less. But I've seen one of them. You know, you see these pictures sometimes. Oh, this wrestler without makeup on Twitter or whatever. He looks better without. Full stop. Some of them do. So she's cut back on it. I think she looked great in this. She turns to the camera, starts talking to him. But fucking Chelsea Green in a wheelchair rolls past. Tiffany just stops what she's saying, wanders over, pushes Chelsea out, turns around to the camera and just carries on. I love that. Shit like that when it's framed like that reminded me of the Kit Wilson, Matt Cardona thing a while ago. So maybe it's something about that couple. They're just treated like, oh yeah, I'm going to be doing my thing, strolling along, doing my bit. Oh, this fucker's in the way. Just going to bam, slap you away, carry on. Like nothing happened. Uh, the Cardona couple, they're very giving. It's made me laugh. Julia wrestled, Kiana wrestled Tiffany. Tiffany ended up going over. Chelsea and Alba had a bit of a run in. They kind of got themselves involved, because of course they did. And Tiffany ended up winning. So maybe that was handed the shot for the championship. Novel idea, WWE, actually making people earn a shot. Bella Twins. It especially made no sense because the week before, Julie and Kiana were defeated by Charlotte. So all four of them were in a number one contender match. And then suddenly the Bella Twins just get it. I just don't care. I don't care. Elsewhere, Sami Zayn. I'm liking this this story. I don't know where the fuck it's going. That's why I'm liking it. Is he going to turn heel? Maybe. He's doing a lot of run-ins lately with all kinds of people, mainly Cody. Um, the whole narrative a while ago, Sammy's always the bridesmaid, never the bride. You're always so close, yet so far. And it was really kind of getting on top of when Drew McIntyre was taking a piss out of him for it. Trick Williams was taking a piss out of him for it. He's wondering what's missing. And since he lost at the Rumble, he's kind of had this self-pitying attitude. He's kind of talking to a lot of people about title opportunities or at sea with a bit of bitterness. Cody's kind of picking up on it and saying it, and then Sammy's like, "No, no, no, I'm friends. So wait, I'm your friend." Cody was doing this angle recently. He was like, "Yeah, I do look up to you." Cody was said he'd look up to Randy. He didn't say he looked up to Cody, but that's because they're friends. And you don't look up to your friend. Cody's like, "Well, you can. You do sometimes. What the fuck are you talking about? I look up to you." Basically, every time Sammy's kind of trying to approach Cody and make things right for an awkward moment last week interaction, he's making it worse. And then, like uniform right now, they've got to have a box next to it. Johnny Gargano's not on it. He's still doing that shit, by the way. Still lying in boxes. No, there's a load of bottles. Sammy swipes them off the table. Scream, bangs down the crate. Looks all frustrated. They're just building this tension. After he did that this week, he then approached Trick Willie. And yeah, he spoke to him quite heelish. He got really angry, really up for it. Was like, yeah, we were in his face. I'm wondering whether they do Sammy versus Trick and then yeah, do a double turn. I feel like they might. There's a rumor WWE could turn Triple H's face because they're taking note of the reactions he's getting. I don't even think you need to. I think he does better work as a heel. Um, you can get him like just have him be a heel organically over. It happens a lot. I feel like these days we're moving more into the heel gets cheered era. Again, the anti-hero era, maybe. Well, not so much that. I think it's just because a lot of people are just tired of the same fucking faces always winning, man. Like, Cody Rhodes can never lose clean. Has this guy lost clean since he came back to WWE? I don't think so. When's the last time Rhea lost clean? Like when she was actually pinned. Both title triple threat matches she was in last year, she didn't take the pin. Because of course she didn't. I don't think so. Did she take the pin at SummerSlam? Naomi pinned probably was Io. I don't actually know. So apologies if I'm wrong there, but yeah, no. People, if you're good at heel work, you will get cheered no matter what. It doesn't mean you have to turn them face. A cautionary tale on that, and don't get me wrong, I think she's great as a face as well. As Alexa. Her best work was as a heel. Her best character was as the goddess. She got cheered because she was so good at what she did in terms of promo and storytelling, character development, just the way she was. It got her over. It got her cheered over faces like Sasha Banks and Bayley. You don't need to do that with Trick. I don't see a necessity for it at all. Maybe you could still do Sammy turns heel, but Trick remains there. I don't know. Either way, I feel like they're on collision course, Mania. I still would have done Mello versus Trick, but I feel like they're doing this story at the moment where Ilya's refusing the US Open challenge from Carmelo. He said he doesn't feel ready yet. He suffered a few defeats and a lot of them by nefarious means, like the Miz interfering, and then with the MFT, he got pinned by Tamatonga in the big 5-on-5 match about a month ago. But they seem to be delaying that. Maybe they're doing that to get on the main card. I don't mind that in that case. I'd love both of them to be in the card. I think they both deserve it. I think both of them carried SmackDown for much of this year. Well, Mellows is more the back end. Ilya's is more the back end of last year because Mello won the championship just before New Year's. So far this year, Mello's done great. Yeah, they seem to be pulling back on doing it like weekly at the moment, which is the right move. That is where we stand at the moment with Mania season. Monday Night Raw, Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns will be there. It's time to get matches going on. I think we will see one confirmed this week, at least. I think Dom versus Finn will be confirmed. Basically, it's all right. You know it's happening. Let's hope over Brock they start getting a move on that. I don't know why you wouldn't have it on the bill. Like I said, it makes no fucking sense. Where else we go from Raw, I do not know. Maybe Seth Rollins matchup becomes clearer this week. I just hope to God they drop this masked man bullshit, man. He's already been unmasked. Why are we still doing it? Like, what the fuck? I thought it was it after the chamber. 2 weeks in a row, they're still doing it. It's like he's trying to tease the vision with this, just because Austin Theory was this masked man for a few weeks. Oh my God. Anyway, there were a lot of rants in there, but like I said, I think this was a better week for the WWE. Excitement level is still pretty low for me. One of the lowest it's ever been, honestly. But it's it's improved this week, especially with Vaquer Live. I thought that's great. I'm excited for Dom Finn. I thought all the Judgment Day stuff last week was on point. Chef's kiss. Roman Punk build continues to be great. Thanked this week by the Uso Brothers, who I thought did the best work they've done in quite a while. But not eating and stuff when they're actually like locked in, they're good. Um, Rhea Jade continues to underwhelm. Cody Randy had a banger segment. Best segment of SmackDown by far. The only good thing on that show, honestly. Genuinely, I think it was the only thing. Oh, and Tiffany pushing away Chelsea and Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll I thought was great. Would I even a Mania match now? Yeah, there's my summary of this. And we'll see what next week brings. I'm leaning more towards doing this kind of thing in future, where I just every week review all of them because I just don't really have the time to do this for like each individual show. Maybe occasionally I will if I do watch a show live and I'm still like got the energy that night or the next day to do it. But I'm leaning more towards this kind of formula of just once a week I'll pop up and talk about the last week. But yeah, that is where we stand. And let's hope Monday Night Raw continues tonight because we had a good show last week. Raw, I don't even remember last time Raw had two good shows running, so we'll see. It's probably like October time. We'll see if that can happen again. Anyway, guys, take care. See you next time.